Howdy homies, it is James Finnerty here with Rewind Electric again, and we're gonna get into the mail today. Some of this I've already opened, but there's one piece in particular, two pieces in fact, that I want to open on the camera because they are sold as vintage, and I've had some mixed luck buying things that were sold as vintage, and I just like to document the process this time, so there's no question about did I pull a switcheroo, or did the last customer pull a switcheroo, whatever. So it's always fun to do these things anyway. This one's already opened up. I'm doing a little bit of a vintage analog delay comparison that's coming up soon, and this was a request from some forum members. Multiple people requested this one, so I said, okay, I'll go ahead and buy it. It's inexpensive enough that I can do that to include it. And I've never heard these. I don't think I've ever heard any of these Arion pedals. They are something, they're made in Japan. I think this is a 1980s. It sure looks like 1980s. And this is like something I would see in a pawn shop growing up and be like, what is that? Because back then I didn't know anything other than DoD Boss and Ibanez. Like seeing a Maxon was an oddball. So I remember seeing stuff like this and thinking like, that's some cheap junk. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. We'll find out. So set that aside over here for now. This guy's also one that would be included in that. In fact, this is one of those examples of the pedals I was talking about, or experiences where I was sold something vintage and it wasn't. You'll see this says here, vintage 1980s. No, it's not. But I might include it anyway, just depending what kind of slots I have available on the looper. We'll get to these in a minute. I'm just going through these one time here. 1970s Ross Phaser. This is made in Taiwan, I thought, right? Does it say that somewhere? Huh. I thought it said made in Taiwan. Oh, yeah, right there. Made in Taiwan. You normally have a Kansas address there for the ones that are not. I do have a USA made one as well, but yeah. Here's got the box. Ross. Let's zoom in a little. This is a Ross distortion unit. I don't know that I've ever played one of these in my life, so I'm looking forward to this. This was just kind of like it came along with something else I was getting. It was part of a deal, as was actually the phaser. A couple phasers happened to come along with other things to me. So you'll see this here has a Kansas address. This is a made in the USA, 1970s Ross distortion. I don't know what's inside it. I'm not sure that we're even going to get into that right now. In fact, I'm sure that we're not going to get into that right now because I'm putting it back in the box. I'm not going to jack Josh's box thing again. This is the box. This is empty. This is the box from the DoD delay that's included in the shootout. DoD 680 blue AC powered delay. Box from the green MX. Is it 118? Does it say on here even? Whatever. It doesn't say. MXR delay that's also in the shootout. I really like this. Okay. Let's get to opening these guys up. You'll remember I said that phaser was something I got that kind of was a piece of another deal. It was included in it. Well, I got another phaser in a piece of another deal, and that was a version 2 MXR small stone, which I've had before. I used to keep one on my board back when I was in my last band, at least for a while, and I liked it a lot. But I always wanted a version 1 because I think they're a little more subtle. And when it comes to pretty much like any effects, I prefer subtle over intense. So I got a version 1. That comes with a loose knob, apparently. I think that might be damaged. I happen to have another one right here. That is interesting. They're definitely different. This is a Dakaware knob, made in Chicago. That is a vintage knob. Interesting. Really? They're not the same? Oh, they are. That's a good fit. What's the deal with this one? There's a little something in there loose. I can see it. Well, maybe that's just supposed to be loose. It was in there firm enough to be believably intentional. Huh. What is coming out of this? Oh, do you guys see this? Can you see this, like, let me zoom in. See this dusty stuff here? I know what that is. It's pouring out of this from the jack holes. Look at that. Yes, I said jack holes. Settle down, Beavis. It's I know what that is. That's the foam from inside. There's a piece of foam that probably wraps around the battery, and that's what that is. It's falling apart. We'll find out in a second. This is really interesting. I'm not sure quite how to properly address that. Just need to be bent a little bit. Like this Dakaware is Bakelite, Daka, and it's fairly fragile stuff, so I don't want to be too forceful with it. I'm going to try just giving this a little bit of a bend on these prongs. This is a little piece of spring steel, and it looks like that's what keeps it firm. I'm not going to go too far. Just bend these little rabbit ears back a hair. Oh, my grandpa would be proud of that one. Rabbit ears, back a hair. Yeah. And then I think it's sat in this way. Let's see. It's yeah, that's pretty good. Except I pulled it off and it fell out. Try a little bit of this. This is a tetanus shot waiting to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like it just needs a tiniest bit more because it was very close. The firmness was nearly appropriate a moment ago until I took it off and this fell out, which is just how it's going to be. I guess I could glue it, but I don't want to. This is what you tuned in for, right? Watching me mess with a piece of spring steel inside an old knob. I just said old knob. My buddy, the Gun Penguin, his horse mascot on his channel would be getting excited off this one. I think we're gonna call that good. I might have gone too far, actually. Let's actually get into this and do something interesting. Okay, so these feet always move around. It's like common thing with a EHX belts. Did I say MXR earlier? I might have said MXR. I meant EHX. I'm admittedly not a huge Electro-Harmonix fan, but I'm recently giving them another shot because I really like this that I got. I really like that, so I thought, boy, have I just had bad experiences with the other. Oh boy, look at this pouring out. I'm going to open it over this box. See, that's what I was talking about. There's a piece of foam in there that has turned to dust. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Speaking of horses, horsehair brush. Great for sweeping up your bench, sweeping up fret dust off of fretboards when you're doing fret jobs. Okay. Maybe I'll just actually brush this thing itself, what's left of it. You can see where they swiped the glue on. Back in 1970 whatever. Early enough it could have been Mike Matthews. Throw that box out. Alright, let's see what we have. Original battery plug. Oh boy, I'm gonna sweep that. That is a mess. Let's take a good look at it. In case I knock one of these wires off, we can have a record of where they went. Gosh, look at that pot. It is all encrusted in there. I'm gonna have a heck of a time getting that out, but I'm gonna do this off camera. Bear with me. Okay, I need a smaller brush, which I have right here. We'll be able to get a date off this pot. Woo! Okay. And the date is 1976. So 137, which is a CTS part number, and then 76 for 1976. And 07 for the 7th week of 1976. Japanese jack, interestingly. Is the other one as well? I don't think it is. I think this is a Switchcraft. Let's see. No, it's not a Switchcraft. It's the same. Now, could lift the board up and look under it. Should we do that? Yeah. Why not? You guys take your stuff apart before you ever listen to it to begin with, right? It's not just me. Have I talked about how I like these, but I hate that there's like 7 of them? Where's the rest? I mean, I bought the full set. It's just that there is no rest. You like 13, 14, and 15 millimeter? Good. You like 16? Get out of here. No one wants to hear about that. That requires a special tool. This is made for just such things. Really made for removing the switch ring, the switch nut on Les Pauls, like where the pickup selector is, or whatever Gibson's, but it fits on all of that type of stuff. So you put it on there, and then you tighten that down, and then you just strip it like I'm doing. Okay, loosen it up. Push it on all the way, hold it firm, tighten it down. Make sure it's really grabbing it, and then hold the switch firmly. Oh, you know what? I don't have to take the switch off. As it turns out, I thought the board was connected to the switch, but I see now it's not. It's only the pot. And I just want to get that pot out of here so we can turn it. There we go. Let's have a look. Turning on my bench top multimeter. It takes a second to boot. This is a 500 microfarad 15 volt capacitor. It's an electrolytic, obviously. Some Aerovox and Sprague ceramic discs. The ICs we have here are these are those EH branded ones. What are they actually? They're not made by Electro-Harmonix. These guys were sneaky way back then. Let's brush it off. A little bit of dust in here. Got some of that residue from the foam. We'll get this all off. I don't have any compressed air cans at the moment, and I'm not going to go fire up my 20-gallon compressor or whatever, the 35-gallon compressor, and ruin the audio on this. So I am the compressed air today. Here we have a little 10 microfarad 6 volt electrolytic. Transistors are, oh, I need glasses and probably lights. BC239C. This is something different. Shoot. BC309. I would like to clean that pot because that foam certainly got in there. I would have preferred compressed air as a first go, but I'm going to use the Deoxit F5. There's a chance this is going to flush all the lubrication out of it. A good chance. I'm going to do it off camera here. But this is mine, and it's what I have right now, and it's going to work. So, yeah. It's like my second choice. It's not my first choice, but I'm going to use it. Just kind of get in there. I know I said I'd do it off camera, but oh, there we go. I am doing it off camera. That's way too much, but I'm flushing it. And another little blast on this side. Again, way too much, but it's a flushing exercise, not a cleaning exercise. Let that sit for a minute. And check out the switch while that is sitting. The switch feels good. It's got some weird markings on it. Those are going to come off. It feels like a job for naphtha. That looks like a job for rubbing alcohol. clean the switch, the jack contacts. They look a little grungy. Q-tip, 91% isopropyl. I do have a burnishing tool for these two if need be, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. They are not that kind of grungy. Uh-oh, hold on. Ooh, that'll peak the meters. That'll clip the meters. Pardon me. You know, when people clean these, often neglect the collar here. This is an electrical audio contact. And that's actually the part that fails the most. I'll explain why in just a second. But clean this out really good. I don't know if that'll fit in there. Nah, I'm not going to use that. Okay, so the reason why this part fails is because you got a plug in here, right? That's how it works. Well, you know, you've got a piece of spring steel with a nice curve and a bend there that's making good contact. And no matter what you do to this, like as far as bending it around, I mean, this is a Q-tip, so it's too small, but when you wiggle that around, that thing's gonna make contact no matter what, right? But when you wiggle that around in the same way, when you use the lever that is your cable and wiggle that around, probably it's always pulling from one side, this circle turns into an oval. It becomes stretched out. And then that's where you start losing contact. My good friend Phil Jacoby clued me into that because the same thing happens on guitar jacks. Even more so because you're moving around playing your guitar and you're pulling on it. Just cleaning this pot nut up a little bit. The alcohol while I got it out on the Q-tip. Okay. Alrighty then. While I start putting this back together, I'm going to fire up my amp over here. We should give this guy a little test. I'm going to bring the Variac up to... Where are we going to live today? Oh, we're living in the 114.6 volt range. Entirely arbitrary number, just something close to 115 for that amp, not for all amps, for that amp, which is a 1978 Princeton reverb that we're going to be listening to. I'm going to use that to test this. I can see that I've broken the battery clip off. I think I know where that goes. I hope I know where that goes. I think it goes to ground. Let's get this back in. Okay. This thing on my finger, by the way, it's just a little, I don't know what you call it. It's just a little piece of stretchy cotton. It's like a little sleeve that's stretchy for better tone. No, I'm just kidding. It's for like basketball players, I guess, for sprains or injuries, I think. Not why I have it on. I had a procedure done on my finger there, and you'll see it looking kind of gnarly in one of my last videos, and my wife saw that video and like for like 1 second, and Mrs. Rewind was like, why didn't you cover that off? So, you know, I don't want to gross anybody out. I don't think it's that bad, but she seemed to think it was all Night of the Living Dead. It's a Beetlejuice reference. I love that movie. Okay, I'm thinking it went on this lug because there's nothing else there. Let's put it back there. Something was there. Also, that's ground. It's tip positive jack. We don't really know that means it's negative ground, but I feel pretty good about that. Okay. Sorry if I have a little bit of a sniffly nose today. I do indeed. I have a little bit of the sniffles. Oh shoot. I was gonna meter that cap. Not today, not anymore. Dang it. I don't have the battery I want. Well, hang tight because I'm not gonna. Do I have another one sitting around? No, I'll be right back. It's my last pack of these. These are the carbon zinc batteries I like to put into old pedals. Yeah, let's just hope I didn't fry something right now. All right. Newer EHX pedals have a door for the battery there. Older ones don't. This is an older one. This is the first version. I think I said that already, though. So, okay, let's put these screws back in it. At least I'll put 2 of them in it, and then I'm going to plug in a cable, see what we get. I can hear ye old Princeton reverb hissing away over here, so that's all. That didn't make any sound plugging a cable into it, though. That's a little concerning. That did. Okay. That's working. Okay, one quick riff. I feel good enough to put these screws back in now. And the knob on. Boy, pardon my congestion and sneezing and coughing, seriously. I don't think that I'm sick. But it gets really windy this time of year in the desert, and so as I'm out hiking in the wind, it's also so dry because it is a desert that the wind is kicking up a lot of dust, sand, all that red dirt, and I'm sure I was breathing plenty of it. Okay, I'll leave that. '78 Frankie replica. Guitar pick. I should plug that Ross distortion in too. Oh, All right. I want to throw the Ross distortion in front of it and see what it does. Okay, I also want to try the Ross phaser and see what that does. I don't know if there's a battery in this, but that we could do. I don't think I have a jumper cable in this room sitting right here, but we can plug in and hope there's a battery in this one. Do a little quick comparison. Nah, there's no battery in it. Oh, dang it. All right, how about the distortion? Maybe just hear it by itself real quick. Yeah. Also negative, no battery. Okay, wrap it up and we'll do another one. Yeah. All right. This will be the end of part 1. See ya.